What's going on, YouTubers and Mopar people? I'm going to start doing some videos that are a little bit off topic from my normal stuff, but as you can see here, I got my dad's 75 Harley-Davidson Superglide that he custom built himself in storage, and I'm going to start getting into doing auto body stuff, auto body and auto body tech stuff on my channel as well, since I have 3 years of auto collision repair certification. We're going to focus on my dad's bike today. He still has the rear, what they call a fat bob fender. I did the custom paint job on this. He bought the paints and primers and all that stuff from a place called Wholesale Auto Paints in Springfield, Missouri on North Glenstone. So basically all this was done at the house, and since we don't have a shop or a garage, I did this I would say back in late 90s, early 2000s, right out in the front yard. I did it on a warm summer morning when the sun was coming out, not in direct heat. That's one thing you don't want to do, is try to paint or spray paint or anything in direct heat, because before you can actually get a smooth, even coat, it'll start drying on you, and when you spray, it'll get overcoat over the stuff you've already painted. Overspray mist, and that dries on, and there's a real rough texture anyway. What I did was I wet the entire front yard down. It's flat out there, and I'll show you. And then I set up a rack and a shelf to set this fat bob fender, rear fender, and then the fat bob front fender that he had on for the front of his bike. I'll show that to you here in a little bit. But this is basically the bike. It's what he calls he did a somewhat of a semi-chopper look to it. It's somewhat stock, somewhat chopper. That's what I meant by that. Not an actual semi, big rig or anything like that. But since he worked at Harley dealerships up in Des Moines, Iowa, and custom bike shops where they built, repaired Harleys and built Harley dragsters from the ground up. He's got S&S air cleaner, custom carb. He did all the engine work himself. He put out an aftermarket cam, crankshaft, oversized pistons, ported out the heads. It's got, as you can see, custom factory, or I should say custom, not factory, custom straight pipes, no baffles or anything inside. It's got the old school rear disc brake setup, and for years he used the skinniest car tire or truck tire he could find on the back, which would all interchange on these rims. I can't remember what the width is on these rims, but I'd have to look at the tire. But anyway, he once he got some extra money after living down here in Missouri, when we moved down here in '89, he saved up enough money to get a set of front and rear tires for this, for actual bike tires. It's got custom ignition. He still has the what you could see down here, the kickstart, manual kickstart. He's got a Stinger ignition on here, and over here, this box, he just has got to flip a switch and push a button, and it's got electric start that he can bump the engine with. He got rid of his fat bob tanks and got an old school Sportster tank, and I did the paint job on this. He upgraded to, instead of the factory handlebars he had, up to 15-inch ape hangers. He's done all the front work himself on the frame and everything. He's raked it out a little. I forgot how many degrees it was. He raked the front end out a little bit. The front rim, still the suspension, stock suspension, and still has the factory drum brake on the front. But yeah, I did he bought like a quart of pretty much like jet black or whatever it is, what kind of black they had, like canary yellow, and then like the darkest red we could find that was like blood red or fire engine red. And I did all this pins. I bought some 3M real thin blue pinstriping tape to mask off the flames. Each coat of black, there's 3 or 4 coats of black. Each coat got, after it cured and dried, it got wet sanded. Did 3 or 4 coats of black. And then there's another thing I did to enhance the flames, because you wanted to give the flames a 3D effect, like they were actually trapped under a clear coat. So when you run your hand across, you can actually feel the flames trying to somewhat bulge through the clear coat, give it that 3D effect. Same thing back here. You can run your finger across and feel the flames under the clear coat. We did that on purpose. Normally you wouldn't do that. But anyway, it's been sitting in storage for quite a while. He comes out here and cranks it over once in a while, keeps the fluids going and stuff. But yeah, I just wanted to show you that he works on he used to work on all this old school stuff. As a little kid, I rode on this. My mom would sit here, my dad would sit here. I'd sit in between my dad's lap. He'd hold me and he would steer the Harley and drive the bike. Once I got older and could basically ride on the back of a bike without any assistance, I would ride on the back with my dad and go across town and stuff in Iowa, in Des Moines. I had to reach back and either wrap my hands around what they call the sissy bar here, or I would just hold on to this. Anyway, he's got foot pegs down there too. So anyway, you also learn how to tighten your legs up against the side of the bike too, to help when you go through the turns and the curves, stuff like that. You lean with the bike. But yeah, he said that out of all his biker buddies, I put more miles on my butt riding on this bike with my dad than any of his friends did on their Harleys. But and they did a lot of miles on their bikes. They drove all over town, and they took trips out of town and stuff to other places to visit other groups of bikers and stuff. But anyway, hold on just a minute. Okay, so now we're outside, and here is that Fat Bob front fender. And I don't know if you can see it very well. It's kind of a little bit of overcast today, but started out after I got all the coats of black on and wet sanded it and got it all prepped. Came in, and one thing you have to do is, which you're normally supposed to do anyway, when you put colors down, you always put the light colors first, because you use less coats of the lighter colors than you do the dark colors. The dark colors can cover stuff up quicker, and it doesn't require as many coats. Well, we wanted to give it that 3D effect, where when you look at it, you can also see from the side there's a reflection coming up off the side of the edge of the flames. And then when you're in your hand over there, it feels like like I said, it feels like they're trying to bulge up out of the clear coat, give it that 3D effect. But anyway, I did the black first, and I did several coats of the yellow, and so it had what I call a ridge on the side, a sharp ridge. And then that was before I took the pinstriping tape off. And then what I did is I came back in with the same spray gun we were using. I didn't use an airbrush, and I started from here and worked my way in and dusted around through here. And so basically you got red flames, and then as they get closer, when you hit the red over the yellow, this stuff right here turns orange, so it naturally blended in. And I just kind of lightly wet sanded it. I had to go through and wet sand all these edges down till I got it down smooth, and then I wet sanded everything else. And then each clear coat, I think there's like 4 coats of clear on here, each wet coat after it after it cured and dried. Got wet sanded with like 2000 or 2200 grit sandpaper, and then another clear coat added in the final clear coat after it was all said and done. I did that, and then I took some really good quality automotive glaze compound and polished the entire thing. As you can see, I painted the underside, and I don't know if you can see that or not. See where the paint ends, and it wraps around. And that's the other thing, is there's a lip in there from the sheet metal that wraps around the other piece of sheet metal, because there's two layers. You got the fender, and then you got the inner sleeve. When you're painting or you're doing any body work, make sure you go all the way to the end of the panel, even if it bends and curves and is crumpled up around the other panel. Go all the way to the edge and sand it and paint it. Don't try to come up along the edge here and mask it off and then try to paint it, because you'll leave a ridge of rough textured paint, a real fine stripe of rough textured paint that doesn't look right. It looks almost like an Earl Scheib job or whatever. But anyway, as you can see, it's got a couple of light little scratches in it. Somebody has moved it around and it got bumped or something fell on it. And there's a couple little chips taken off the very bottom edge that I have to touch up with some paint. Kind of pisses me off, but anyway. But yeah, you always want to do your light colors first and then your dark colors second. That way it takes less coat, especially if you're going to do some custom design like flames or something like that on it. But like I said, we did the opposite, because my dad wanted the 3D effect of the flames to be able, you could be able to feel the flames feeling like they're pushing up out of the clear coat. Anyway, I rambled on long enough on that part. As you can see, this whole area out here, I took a garden hose, and this was during the summer, so we didn't have all these leaves, and I hosed down the entire front yard, set up my deals to paint my stuff. And I think out of the entire time I did all this stuff, I think like one piece of, like a piece of hair, like a strip of hair, or like one little gnat landed on the paint. And so I just waited till it dried and sanded them off, or you can take a pair of fine tip tweezers and peel them off. Don't try to wipe them off, because it'll just smudge the paint or the clear coat. But yeah, I just wanted to do a video on the type of custom. I've done other custom paint jobs when I was in my auto body classes. We had a Volkswagen Beetle come in from like the 60s, and they wanted it painted, see, what color did we do that? It was teal blue or teal green. It was a combination bluish green with metal flake and like maybe a green pearl in it. We did that, and then I masked the front off and did what they call scallops, the really fine triangular points, almost like icicles coming off the front. And then that was like a blood red metal flake, and they wanted like a pink pearl put in it, because the guy was actually having the car done up for his daughter. So I did that. I didn't get any photos of it, which I should have back in the day. You keep in mind, this was like 95, 96, when I was doing my 3 years of auto body during high school. That's what I did for the first 4 hours of high school. We all hopped on a bus and went to the Gibson Tech. Some people did art class, some people did construction or welding and stuff like that, and automotive, and right next door with the automotive was our auto body class. So we did that, and then we all shops had we did a class project. It was a 67 or 68 Chevy pickup long bed. So each class got to have their little deal added to the truck for a project, the entire school project. Of course, auto body did the paint job. Automotive did all the automotive work. Welding did the overhead rack for carrying construction supplies. Art class airbrush the initials for Gibson Tech on the side of the doors. We did a dark blue metal flake, and then I did a black with metal flake scallops coming off the hood, going up the hood, and then down on the side of the fenders for that. I also did a guy did some drag racing when he wasn't in school, and he brought in a helmet that he wanted custom painted, and so we went ahead and prepped the helmet. We did it a DuPont. We used nothing but DuPont colors. We had a big DuPont mixing system in the shop, and we did black for the base coat color. And then he also wanted flames that wrapped around the helmet, so I laid out flames, and I think we did what color was that? It was a black helmet with I believe it was red candy apple red flames, or blood red flames with metal flake in it, something, I can't remember, it's been so long. But it turned out really nice. We put several coats of clear on it, and I should have got a photo of that too, and the pickup that we worked on, but I didn't. But anyway, I rambled on long enough on this video, and probably the next video I'll do is the one of me installing the welded in splash plates for the underside of the chrome valve cover on the slant 6. I'm going to be attempting to use for the first time a electric powered pinch welder that I bought off of a buddy that had a business that went under back during the Obama administration. Anyway, be doing that, and then maybe in some other videos I'll show some actual auto body tech tips, like how to properly fix a panel, weld it, how to properly apply Bondo. I don't know if I'm going to get into doing the fiberglass and resin just yet. That might be later on down the road. How to properly feather back the paint and the primer and the clear coat and stuff when you're having to fix a dent in the body and stuff like that. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. And if you want to help out my channel by helping me get my 65 dart together, you can donate to my PayPal account. I believe it's paypal.me/Moparman1978. I'm going to start posting them in the description section below of the video. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this video.